Well, okay, we're going to get started, and just know that those that join us. Some will be watching in the interwebs, as they say, either catching this on our Facebook page or maybe on our YouTube channel. Today, we are actually broadcasting to both Facebook Live and YouTube Live. So a great experiment is underfoot. Well, I am Reverend Ann Tabor, and welcome to episode 39 of Put a Myrtle on It. The place to be for a little myrtle, a little prayer, and, just a little song. Now, if you are new to Unity or really not all that familiar with why this little program is called Put a Myrtle on It, let me just share a few highlights with you. Myrtle Fillmore is a co-founder of the Unity movement along with her husband, Charles. And they did this back in the late 1800s. So over the years, Silent Unity, our Silent Unity prayer ministry, has been developed. That's over 125 years old, as well as the Daily Word magazine, which is read by hundreds of thousands of people from all faiths. And so the Daily Word magazine, here we go. This is the July-August publication. Now you can go to unity.org and find Silent Unity as well as the Daily Word magazine there. And I highly encourage that you pray with Silent Unity and you subscribe to the Daily Word. Now, I am a Unity minister, licensed, ordained, Master of Divinity, all that good stuff. And I became a Unity minister because I fell in love with Myrtle Fillmore, and I fell in love with our spiritual principles, our specific teachings. They changed my life for the better, and I know that they can do the same for you. Boo, I know they can do the same for you. So when I was in seminary, I coined the phrase, put a myrtle on it. And so every Friday at 12 noon Central Time, we're going to come together here in this space to put a myrtle on it. Oh, yes. Now, we've had reruns the last couple of Fridays because I have been out of town, but I'm very, very happy to be back with you today to put a myrtle on it. Now, I do have to advise you that this is not magical thinking. There's no magic beans or there's not a magic wand to be waved. This really is about practicing these principles. They work if you work them. That is the capital T spiritual truth. Today, I'm going to be sharing from one of Myrtle's books called How to Let God Help You. And I love the title of this book. And I emphasize the word let because we have to allow God to live, move, and breathe in us and as us. So there's an allowing that has to take place. So today I'm going to be reading from one of my favorite chapters in this book, and it's called Life is a School. Life is a School. So if you have your copy of How to Let God Help You, go to page 17 because that's where this chapter, which is called chapter 3, Life is a School. This is some great stuff. Here we go. Myrtle says, life is a school. In the beginning, God created man in his own image and likeness, even as he created the little seed to bring forth of its kind. As lives the flower in the seed, so lives the Christ in me. The germ of God likeness slumbers in us, and it should be our true aim in being to make manifest this perfect self or Christ of God in our lives. Now, I just want to pause here for a moment because I want to remind you, like when she says, as lives the flower in the seed, so lives the Christ in me. So, what I want you to know about that is that you are already encoded with this divine pattern of perfection to unfold as your Christ self, just like the seed becomes a bloom, right? A flower, which becomes a bloom, or like the acorn becomes the oak tree. She goes on to write. Now, this is classic Myrtle, I have to tell you. So please lean into this. All of us, sooner or later, come to the place in our development where we are no longer satisfied to go on living the old life without the knowledge of our oneness with God, the source of our being. Sometimes, when we reach this point in our soul's progress, we do not at first know just what's taking place. We may become restless and dissatisfied. We may go through experiences which we do not understand. We may even be tempted to think that our good has gone from us. But just as surely as there is God, the one presence and one power, we shall find that all is well and that we are going but from one room, as it were, into another larger and lighter room. And so what I want to say here, hi, Marlene, what I want to say here is that, scripture tells us that in my Father's house, there are many, many rooms, many mansions, right? And that is what Myrtle is sharing with us here, that when we die to the old ways and awaken to the new ways of transforming and being, it's like going from one room into another lighter, larger room. Like imagine if you walk into a room and the light is not on, that it's dark. But all you have to do is just flip that switch, right? And then the entire room is illuminated. And so it is with you. She goes on to say, as we leave old circumstances, beliefs, habits, and desires behind and seek to understand and to enter into and get the blessings out of the larger life, which is ever opening to us, we are filled with a sense of peace, freedom, and assurance that all is well. We should then turn our attention within and devote ourselves to those thoughts and acts which make for poise, order, health, and success. As we realize that we are God's children, that we have power and authority to think and to speak the good and true and to have it manifest in harmonious relationships and pleasant surroundings, we no longer invite or submit to inharmony, misunderstandings, or limitations. We place ourselves in God's keeping and think truth with a capital T, and it directs us in ways of peace and pleasantness. As we think of others as God's children, we see them in a new light. We understand how it is that they are trying to unfold and use the faculties and powers God has implanted in them, and we have compassion if they seem to fall short at times. We also have power to speak truth for them, to bless them, and to help them. And isn't that what holding the high watch is for our friends and our family and our loved ones? It is doing exactly that. It's that we have the power to speak truth for them, to bless them, and to help them for their best and highest good to be unfolding. I'm going to pick up now on page 19. Myrtle says, do not bother about anything that has been or that seems to be taking place at present or that is to come in the future. Leave past, present, and future in God's hands. right? That's like she said before. We place ourselves in God's keeping and think truth. Leave past, present, and future in God's hands. Some would say leave it at the altar of God, right? Not that God is anthropomorphic and outside of us, but the God of our being, the God of our very understanding. She says, leave yourself in God's care and keeping, and just do that which will furnish spirit with the necessary cooperation and the necessary materials to be converted into harmony of soul, strength, and health of body. Keep your thoughts free from worry. Keep them on matters close at hand, on God's presence and power. Now, you hear me say so often that the power of imagination, which is a quality that we all have, right? It's not reserved for special people or the chosen few. We all have the power of imagination, and we all have choice in how we use this power of imagination. So when she says, keep your thoughts free from worry, let me just be very clear here that the least beneficial way that you can use your power of imagination is by using it for worry or fear or doubt. You have the power of imagination with you. You might as well use it for good, right? Okay, last paragraph here. The chapter is longer, but this is the last paragraph I'm going to share today. She says, sometimes the soul gets so anxious about what it wishes to do that it tends to neglect the body. This is not fair to the body nor to those who might take care of the body when it is neglected. Now, this is really, really important, so I want you to take this in. She says, your first duty then is to bless your body. Get your thoughts right down into it and praise its wonderful work. Learn what it needs and arrange for supplying those needs. In other words, she's saying, listen to the messages that your body is sending you. So we are now going to do just that. We've had a little Myrtle. That's some really good Myrtle today. And now we're going to move into our time of prayer and meditation. And so right now I want to encourage you to just kind of settle into where you are. And hopefully you've put aside any busyness from the day that may have already occurred. Or, if you're watching this later, make sure to do that for yourself. Give yourself permission to be here now in this space of prayer and meditation. And so I encourage you to get comfortable. I encourage you to let your feet rest flat on the floor and to have your hands just resting ever so lightly in your lap, light as a feather. And I encourage you to allow my words to be your words. And I do this because I want you to experience this time of prayer and meditation from the perspective of I am. Not hearing me say you are, but you being guided as I am. And so in this moment, I turn within. And I let my thoughts, my words, my actions, my deeds now to come into full alignment with my true nature, with my love nature, my God nature. What a wonderful, sweet, sacred space to be in. And so I take a quick scan of my body temple, just from the top of my head to the tips of my toes. And I begin to allow any messages that my body is sending me. I allow those messages to be heard. I bless my body. And I know that my body blesses me, and I am so grateful. And so I start at the top of my head. I am grateful for my mind. I'm grateful for my brain, two different things. I'm grateful for the understanding that I can grow in this teaching, that I mind my mind, that I train my brain. I use my power of imagination for good. And so I bless my skin, I bless my bones, I bless my eyes, my nose, my lips, my teeth, my gums, my tongue, the power of my tongue. I bless my ears, my throat chakra. I choose to speak words of life, words of truth. I choose to speak into the power of love. I bless my arms, my hands, my fingers. I bless my heart, my beautiful heart chakra, this amazing organ and how it works to sustain me. I'm so grateful for my heart. Create in me, O God, a clean and loving heart. I bless my lungs. I bless the power of my breath. I bless all of my internal functions. I bless my gallbladder, my liver, my kidneys, my pancreas, my colon, the power to eliminate. I am so grateful that I get to release back to the earth what is ready to be released. I bless my back, my spine, my entire pelvic region. I bless my thighs, my knees, my calves, my ankles, my feet, and my toes. And so again, I simply scan my body temple from the top of my head to the tips of my toes. And I listen to the messages that my body is sending me. And I am grateful for these areas of my body that are just brimming and radiating with life and love and are glowing in this beautiful harmony of soul and spirit and well-being. And so now I allow any of those areas that are wanting my attention to be blessed by these areas that are radiating with mighty currents of God's healing love. And so I allow this healing, any area, mind, body, or spirit, to be healed now. I allow this because I know that I know that I know that I am in God mind, perfect, whole, and complete. And so I take this with me into the silence for just a moment, where I allow myself to experience more God, more good, more healing. So we spend just a moment here in the silence. I'm so grateful for the knowing that there is only love. There is only love in God mind. Love is the great miracle cure. Love is the great harmonizer, not only within myself, but in the world. And so I choose to show up as the presence of love in any and all circumstances. I am aware that I am the presence of love. And for this knowing, I simply say, thank you, God. And so it is. Amen. And so it is. Amen. I am having a hair day, aren't I? Okay, so we now have had a little Myrtle, a little prayer, and it's time for a little song. This is super simple. We're going to sing it 3 times. If you don't know it, just listen to the first round and then join me right in the comfort of where you are. Here we go. From the top of my head to the tips of my toes, I'm healthy and whole in mind, body, and soul. From the top of my head to the tips of my toes, I'm healthy and whole in mind, body, and soul. From the top of my head to the tips of my toes, I'm healthy and whole in mind, body, and soul. From the top of my head to the tips of my toes, I'm healthy and whole in mind, body, and soul. From the top of my head to the tips of my toes, I'm healthy and whole in mind, body, and soul. From the top of my head to the tips of my toes, I'm healthy and whole in mind, body, and soul. Mind, body, and soul. Mind, body, and soul. Now that is how you put a myrtle on it. That's how you put a myrtle on it. Well, I hope that you have enjoyed being with us today, whether it's live stream or you're viewing this at another time. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to share this ministry with you. I encourage you to share this video, and also if you would like to share your spirit of generosity, there are 3 very, very easy ways that you can give, and they're all listed with this post. One is through our website, of course. Another is through our Tithely text to give. And of course, you can always mail in a check to our Unity of Arlington address. Now, I also want to, before I go, I want to invite you to join us this Sunday, August 1st, on our Facebook page, Facebook Live at 11 a.m. Central Time, because I am beginning a new 3-part series called Spiritual Road Rules. And my first talk title will be Choosing Your Destination. I am so excited about this. And I'm wondering, did you know that direction chooses your destination. It determines your destination. Now, I know that seems really easy on the surface, but so often we get disconnected from where we say we want to go and then the path that we actually choose. This is true for the outer as well as the inner. So please join us this Sunday for Spiritual Road Rules, choosing your destination. All righty. With that concludes episode 39. What a treat. What a joy. What a love. So I love you. I really do. Until next time, peace and blessings. Mwah.